So here comes the second part of the pelvic anatomy, and we are going to talk about here in the pelvic canal. Remember that we have talked already about the anatomy of the pelvis, and it was according to the pelvic skeleton in the last video. In this video, we are going to talk about the pelvic canal. For that, we should know what is true pelvis. So the true pelvis is the bony canal through which the fetus must pass during the birth. It has a brim, mid cavity, and an outlet. That means an entrance, a canal, and an outlet through which the baby passes outside the body of the woman. Now, the pelvic brim is rounded except where the sacral promontory is projected. So, I have told already that the sacral promontory is that part of the sacrum uh, which protrudes anterior. It is generally the part of the first vertebra of the sacrum, which protrudes anterior into the pelvic canal. The pelvic cavity it extends from the brim above to the outlet below. The pelvic outlets are two and described as anatomical and obstetrical. So there are two differences. The anatomical outlet is formed by the lower border of each of the bones together with the sacrotuberous ligament. It is diamond in the shape, and the obstetrical outlet is the space between the narrow pelvic striate and the anatomical outlet. So here we have said that there are two types of the pelvic outlet, anatomical and the obstetrical outlet. So pay your attention here. So this is the pelvic brim. This may be the pelvic canal, pelvic symphysis, and this is the outlet. So the outlet, which is bounded by the bone part itself, is called as the anatomical outlet. That is, the outlet which we can see from this direction is called as anatomical outlet. But the obstetrical outlet is that outlet through which the baby's head comes out. The baby's head comes out. So this is the basic difference between the anatomical and obstetrical outlet. So let's continue. So the important landmark of the female pelvis. First about pelvic brim. So we are going to elaborate a few things about pelvic brim. The first is sacral promontory. So we already know what is sacral promontory. The first vertebra of the sacrum protrudes itself anteriorly. This is the first vertebra of the sacrum which protrudes anteriorly. It is not so in later vertebrae which are just unbulged. So imagine this as a sacrum. The first vertebra protrudes anteriorly, and this is called a sacral promontory. So in the pelvic brim, if this is the pelvic brim, this promontory will be on the posterior side, and and on the anterior side and lateral side there will be pubic symphysis. So pubic symphysis on anterior side. This is pubic symphysis. Just imagine the upper inner border of the body of the pubic bone. This one will be on the anterolateral side, and the upper inner border of symphysis pubis anteriorly. This will be on the anterior side. So pelvic brim is, in short, if you see that what the pelvic brim is contended by. So anteriorly we can see the pubic symphysis. Posteriorly we have the sacral promontory. So the important landmark of the female pelvis. Uh, we have seen the important landmarks in on the pelvic inlet or the pelvic brim. Now about the mid pelvis, we should know just a single thing in the mid pelvis, and that what we call as ischial spine. What exactly is the ischial spine? We have already talked about it. Ischial spine is the projection of ischial bone posteriorly to the ischial tuberosity. Now, about the pelvic outlet, what we should know here is that the inferior pubic rami we know it already. Sacrotuberous ligament, we have told. Then ischial tuberosity, we knew it. Inferior border of civic symphysis is on anterior part and tip of coccyx. Now, the main thing is we should know about the diameter of pelvis to become a good obstetrician. So the diameters can be divided into three parts. The first inlet, second is canal, and the third is outlet. So anteroposterior, oblique, and transverse. So inlet, canal, outlet. So the brim, it is very easy to just remember these diameters. So it is brim, canal, outlet, and anterior, oblique, and transverse. 11, 12, 13, 12, 12, 12, 11, 12, 13. So it can be remembered quite easily. 11, 12, 13, 12, 12, 12, 11, 12, 13. So the brim have anterior-posterior diameter of 11 centimeter, oblique diameter of 12 centimeter, and transverse diameter of 13 centimeter. And the canal have everything of 12 centimeter. That means the canal is perfectly round. The third thing, that is outlet. Outlet have the biggest anterior posterior diameter. Oblique diameter is 12 centimeter and the transverse diameter is 11 centimeter. There are few more diameters that we should understand. Diagonal conjugate. Diagonal conjugate is the line from the sacral promontory to the lower border of the symphysis pubis. Sacral promontory to lower border of symphysis pubis. So if this is a sacral promontory and this is pubic symphysis, this is lateral view, and this is inlet. The diagonal conjugate is that conjugate which is a line from sacral promontory to the pubic symphysis, but not upper border. It is to lower border. This is generally called true conjugate, and this is called diagonal conjugate. This measures around 11 centimeter, true conjugate, and this is the diagonal conjugate which measures around 12.5 centimeter. So we have generally 11 diameters that are very important. The first are these diameters. So these are 9 diameters, and the second are true conjugate and diagonal conjugate. Now, according to these diameters and the structures, we should know the types of pelvis. So there are four types of pelvis: gynecoid pelvis, android pelvis, anthropoid pelvis, and platypoid pelvis. So generally, gynecoid pelvis is present in large number. In many women, statistically, gynecoid pelvis is present, and it is most favorable pelvis for childbirth. The second is android pelvis. The main thing about the android pelvis is that it is somewhat a hardship, and the spines are very prominent in android pelvis. Now, the features of these types of pelvis: so gynecoid pelvis, android pelvis, anthropoid pelvis, and platyploid pelvis. The brim is rounded in gynecoid pelvis. In android, it is somewhat heart shaped, and in anthropoid, it is long and oval. It is a mistake over here. It is long and oval. The platyploid pelvis, it is somewhat kidney shaped. Then we need not remember these facts here. We should know these incidences. So gynecoid pelvis is around 50% of total women. Android is that which is 20%, anthropoid 25%, and platyploid pelvis 5%. Second thing we should know is about the ischial spine. That is, the ischial spine in gynecoid pelvis is blunt. That is, it favors the outcoming of baby. In android, it is prominent, so there might be some complications for baby to come outside, or for molding. Now, what is molding, that we will understand in further chapters. In anthropoid and platypoid pelvis, the ischial spine is blunt, so there won't be some complications due to ischial spine. Then we should know about the subpubic angles. In gynecoid pelvis, subpubic angle is around 90. So, what is subpubic angle? It is the lower angle of pubic symphysis. So, 90 degree in gynecoid pelvis, less than 90 degree in android pelvis. Less than 90 degree in android pelvis. This is frequently asked MCQ in obstetric exam. In anteroid pelvis, it is more than 90, and in platypulloid pelvis, it is more than 90. So, these are important factors. So, today we have learned about the true pelvis, the canals of the pelvis, the diameters of pelvis, and about few landmarks in this. In the next video, we will be learning about the floor of the pelvis and a few of its features. So, thank you.